It's
Okay,
me.
can you tell us a
That's
bit more about the
crazy.
expo and what audiences can expect from attending?
Absolutely. Oh my God, this is such an exciting event that the SAFC holds every year now. I mean, this is the fourth year that we've held an SA game exhibition, and that's what SAGE stands for. And we started it out, it was started as a half day event, and it was really to showcase and to champion the amazing work of our South Australian game developers and studios who are working here and making amazing, amazing games, and actually, selling them all over the world and exporting them and finding audiences from everywhere. And we thought to ourselves, let's make sure that we're doing our bit to try and connect people with the South Australian audiences that are out there. And so the expo's been running for 4 years, so this will be the fourth. And last year we had 3,000 people attend, which was amazing, and it has far surpassed our expectations. But it's a great example of how much of a draw card the South Australian game industry is for people. This is open to the general public. It's open to people who are interested in a career or perhaps studying and pursuing education in game development, and they want to sort of check out what's happening here in the state, what pathways might be available to them, as well as having 41 South Australian game developers and game studios exhibiting their amazing games. We also have a SAGE advice panel, and so that's where we get experts from South Australia but also from all around the country to come in and talk about topics like how do you develop a career in the games industry, how do you make a game from scratch, yourself, how do you get your game published, so there's really cool advice that's there, and you can find out all about the program and the studios who are exhibiting on our website, which is sagameexhibition.com.
Now, over the past 10 years, we've seen the film and game industries overlap more and more as the line between more passive storytelling and interactive and immersive storytelling have become more and more blurred. How important has it been for SAFC to support the local gaming industry?
Oh my God, so important, because essentially what I see is that audiences aren't really distinguishing the two in a way. Like they're looking for content or experiences that they want to engage in depending on how they feel and what they're interested in. And they might choose between watching something or playing something, And so it's all screen content. And there's a lot of similarities in the way that the content is developed and produced and released. There are a lot of differences as well, so we absolutely recognise they're really different business models, and they're really different. There's really different markets in terms of finance for these different types of content. But at the SAFC, we wanted to create an environment which allows for that further convergence. Should that be where the industry develops? So we really want to be responsive to how industry is in turn responding to what audiences want. And it makes sense, therefore, for the SAFC to get involved and support game studios and developers and the development of games to be, shared out there globally and played globally. We wanted to support that in the same way as we have for 50 years supported film and TV content, and we absolutely recognise that, and it's undeniable, the huge audience appeal of games, and we're seeing the engagement just rise and rise and rise with audiences. So in fact, that's the fastest growing screen content segment. So we want to absolutely get involved in that and support South Australians.
No, that's fantastic. Now, Roo, you are a
It's
South
me.
Australian game developer. Your game, TOYA, is in development at the moment. You've shown it at 2 SAGE expos so far. Can you tell us a little bit about the game itself and how development is going?
I can. Well, thanks for having me, first of all. So
That's me.
the game TOYA is a minimalist puzzle game that's always bigger than you think it is. It's been in development for a year professionally, but it started out as a little student project that myself and my co-founder Dan started in halfway through 2024 for a student assignment at AIE. And at the time, we made it with the intention of making something small and polished so that we would be selected to show the game at PAX Melbourne. And we applied, we were lucky to get selected, and off we went. And the real turning point was about 2 hours in on the first Friday, when there was a large bunch of people gathered around watching us, either watching the game or playing the game. And Dan and I looked at each other and we went, "Oh, we've got something here." And that was really the moment that changed everything. And so what we did is, well, not the day after graduation because we were hungover, but the day after that, we started our company, the R&D department. I'm the R of the R&D and Dan's the D. I'm very proud of the name. It's mine.
It's very cool.
Thank you. And we started a ground-up rebuild of the entire project, starting from scratch, because the original, I made the core code base in 2 weeks, so it's complete spaghetti code garbage. And so, yeah, so it was actually at Sage where we had our first big break, really, in that we were very lucky to receive the Sage Elevate Award last year in 2025, which really galvanized our resolve towards development, and we sort of put any doubt out of our minds whether we really had something, and is a large reason for why we're here today doing what we do. So I'm very grateful for Kate and Sage in general, because it's a fantastic opportunity to show off what South Australian game developers can do. There's so much amazing stuff down here, and it's a fantastic event. I hope everyone can get around it.
And exhibit on the world stage as well. You were one of 8 SA game developers supported by the SAFC and Create SA to travel to Gamescom in Germany to showcase the game. How did you find that experience, and what did that bring to the development?
Gamescom was amazing. I have a habit of, in my professional career, just applying for stuff immediately and then deciding if I want it later. And I was very lucky to receive, to get approved on the Gamescom trip, and I was very, very lucky to go because it really opened my eyes to the real scale of the global games market. I touched on PAX Melbourne briefly before, and it dwarfed PAX. At Gamescom, there's 10 exhibition halls. 1 through 4 are the professional section, and then 5 through 10 are the actual consumer game section. A lot of these are 2-story, by the way. Each of those is as big as PAX. So it's like 10 times the size. It's ridiculous. And the sheer volume of people was just amazing. That was one of the big takeaways, because it's hard to ignore. The other one for me was, as a pretty fresh graduate, there was a sort of trial by fire in the, I don't know if you've been to a convention, but there's a website called Meet to Match, which is a blessing and a curse in that it puts you in contact with all these wonderful people. But I had 30 or 40 meetings over that weekend with publishers and localization studios and marketing agencies, and it was just a real gauntlet of, hey, here's me, here's my game, what do you think? And we got a huge range of feedback from that, and it really sort of, I think, was a real trial by fire, and really baptized me into a professional game development sense of being. Despite those 40 meetings, the most important one I had over there actually was one that I didn't schedule. I was walking around in between meetings on one of the days, and I spotted a little logo that I recognized, and it was the Cool Maths Games logo. I don't know if you two have heard of this, but when you're a kid growing up with a school laptop, Cool Maths Games is quite often unblocked on school networks.
Yeah.
So I've spent many, many hours in my youth on Cool Maths Games playing Fireboy and Water Girl and many other classics. But the most important one on that website is a game called Bloxes. And Bloxes is a classic Cool Maths Games. It's one of the most popular ones, where you roll around as a little rectangular prism and have to navigate through levels and then solve the level by falling directly down on your tall end through a hole. And whenever we take TOYA to anything, half the comments we get is oh, it's like that Cool Maths game, Bloxes. And they rarely think of the name, but they just say, oh, that Cool Maths game. Anyway, so I see the Cool Maths Games logo in Germany, and I don't have a meeting, so I just linger and smile and make eye contact. And then eventually one of the guys sort of notices me and says, oh, do you want a meeting? And I was like, yes, I do. So I had a little pitch deck on my phone, and I showed him the second slide was just a little clip of gameplay footage, and then after that he was like, yeah, we'll have it.
Oh my God.
It's just like immediately yes, which is fantastic. And so currently we're in talks at the moment about collaborating with Cool Maths Games, getting TOYA on Cool Maths Games as part of our launch strategy, and they'll also provide us with a small fee, which is very nice. We're leaning into that as part of our launch strategy. It's
That's
very
awesome.
exciting. Yeah.
That's a great story, because I think, part of going to market is, yes, you do have all of your plans and your planned meetings, but it's also about being opportunistic and entrepreneurial, and that's what, game developer studios do. Is they know what they've got, and the mission is to get other people to see what you've got and see the potential of it. And so congratulations, you've done a great job with that. And you've got to be there to make that happen.
You've got to be there.
You've got to be there.
You've got to make eye contact and smile.
Yeah.
Which is where I think I thrive in a sea of nerds. I'm very good at making eye contact and smiling.
And how do you feel as the CEO of SAFC to hear stories like that of small local companies that you've kind of invested in and kind of helped in that beginning and help give that little bit of a step up going out there and really representing the state on the world stage?
Oh my God, I'm thrilled to hear that, because I hadn't heard those stories before. And so it's really great to hear, because it's actually exactly what we're trying to do, which is essentially we don't want to get in the way of the amazing work that people are already doing and their entrepreneurialism. What we want to try and do at the SAFC is create the opportunity for people to be positioned in the market. So we're through Sage, we're trying to position people to be visible and to show what they've got. And, I'm really pleased that over the years it's developed into beyond a general public kind of showcase, but also it's turned into a showcase which now industry and publishers and trade press come to from all over Australia. And it's really one of the key events on the national industry calendar. And so that attracts all sorts of possible partners or financiers or market partners from everywhere to come and see and meet our South Australians. And then through the other part of what we do, which is our export market travel grants, we do support practitioners and businesses to travel to markets, to international markets, because I think Rue's story just demonstrated, like, you can't manufacture those opportunities unless you're actually there.
Yeah.
And taking advantage of those moments where you can put your product in front of someone. So we just try to give people the opportunity to connect with market, and then we absolutely trust and back them to do that. And we do have some funds as well that we provide to help people make their content and also get it finished. But really, I think a key part of what we do is that connection piece. And so I'm really glad to hear that's working for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And a big part of Sage as well is not only investing in the current industry and kind of helping out those in the current industry, but really speaks to kind of children and young people that are excited about games and gaming. How do you find Sage is at connecting with the next generation of game developers and getting them excited about kind of STEM subjects and a future pathway into the industry?
Yeah, well, I'm very luckily positioned to answer this question quite well, as one of my other roles, aside from the R&D department, is I'm a Certificate 3 instructor in game programming at AIE, which is the Academy of Interactive Entertainment, which is a premier game teaching institution that I myself went to. It's where Dan and I met, and it's a fantastic place. And AIE will have a booth there, and as well, I'm fairly confident they'll be doing some talks. It's a really great opportunity for people that are interested in becoming game developers to swing by the AIE booth, see what they have on offer, but also in a similar way to what we were talking about before in Gamescom. It's a lot about just sort of putting yourself out there and having that 20 seconds of courage to go up and say hi to someone, because all the developers of the games are going to be there. And if you're an aspiring game developer and you see a game that you really like, there's every chance that the person standing next to you made it. And it's a fantastic opportunity to take a second and talk to those people. it was. I don't mean to keep comparing Sage to PAX, but it was very moving. At PAX, we had some of the fabulous Team Cherry wandering around, who are Adelaide developers who have just recently released Silksong to international acclaim, as well as picking up a Game Award, which is nuts. They were wandering around PAX, and they often wander around Sage. And both Ari and William came by and played TOYA, and it was a huge moment for me because the original Hollow Knight is one of my core.
I didn't mention Jack. I feel so bad. Jack, if you're out there, I'm sorry I didn't mention you. You're also there, and you're also lovely. Yeah. I should have mentioned you as well there.
Of support that comes from established developers and studios to then the next wave of talent, and now paying it forward to the future wave of talent. I think we really see that as such a strong, as a strength of our South Australian games sector. Like, there's a lot of camaraderie, there's a lot of support for each other, and Sage is I suppose an environment that we can create to bring that new pipeline of talent through, so they can start to meet and connect in with the existing industry. But I also want to say that it's also great to show parents that this is a great industry to work in, that there are huge opportunities. There are, really specialised and highly, technical and creative jobs in this industry. This is absolutely a real proposition, because you just don't hear any shortage of kids and young people who would love to have a career in the game sector. And oftentimes I think people just sort of, without any evidence, might think, that's not going to be possible, or it's, you wouldn't be able to have an income that way. But I think we're seeing, in South Australia, there's already a fantastic sector, and that is growing here. And so we really want to encourage everyone, from young people, but also through to parents and schools and educators and career counsellors to really consider this pathway, because it can be so satisfying and so lucrative. I mean, look at Team Cherry, for example, but many others too.
Many others.
Yeah, so it's and I particularly love that strong connection with that game developers have with their audience, because that is a really rewarding relationship as well.
Yeah, it really is. And I love watching people play my game, but it's also terrifying, as Tristan found a bug just before when I showed him TOYA. But there's a Japanese concept that I love called ikigai, which is about your reason to get up in the morning. And one of my core ones is people having those aha moments to something that I've made, or getting any sort of joy out of a silly little algorithm that I wrote, or a handful of algorithms. It's a fantastic experience, and the thing that I always come back to is, it's for us developers, we're really, really grateful for these opportunities, because it reminds us why we do it. It's an opportunity to show a whole bunch of fresh eyes what we've been working on, get a whole bunch of feedback, watch people play our games, see what they assume to be true, what they assume not to be true, the mistakes they make, the joy they find in it. It's hugely important. And in fact, one of the most fun elements of TOYA is that when you're a bigger cube, you can squash and crush smaller cubes. And that wasn't something that we were particularly leaning into when we first made it. It was just a design problem that I suggested to solve by, like, when you're a bigger cube, if there are smaller cubes, you should just delete them. And so we implemented that, and we're like, it's a bit strange that they just disappear. How about a little particle effect? And that was one of the things that people found the most fun. And we wouldn't have figured that out if we hadn't have done such extensive playtesting at events like that.
That's great. It's awesome.
And I think that's the thing about games, they're designed to be played.
Yeah, exactly.
Is such a sense of play, and going to the event last year, just seeing the smiles and the laughter from the audiences kind of going and testing these games. How important is it for game developers and the industry to have that feedback right there in front of you, rather than just someone kind of sitting in an office at their home playing the game?
Yeah, it's completely different. When there's a saying that I say all the time when I teach, is that you can't play test your own thing. because you made it. You know what the mistakes are and how to complete a thing. It doesn't make sense to try and play test your own thing. So it's incredibly important. And one of the real benefits of being a game developer in South Australia is that we have lots of events that the South Australian Game Association runs for free, like Unwind and Playback, which are fantastic. Particularly Playback is a really good one where we all bring our whatever silly thing we're working on and get 20, 30 people to play them, and we very quickly realize what's fun and what's not.
Yeah. Immediate feedback.
It's the most important part of it.
And the Sage Expo completely free for audiences to go into?
Yes, absolutely. So it's completely free. You can book through our website, sagameexhibition.com. Check out the program. It's on Friday the 6th and Saturday the 7th of February. And it's located at our Adelaide studios, which is operated by the SAFC, which are at Glenside. So they're sort of hiding in behind that big old building on Fullerton Road, but there's these amazing big air-conditioned spaces.
Air-conditioned.
Spaces in behind that facility at Glenside. And so, it's a great way to come and check out, the whole precinct as well and what's happening there across all of screen content creation.
No, fantastic. Well, thank you both for coming into the show today. Been a very exciting and enlightening conversation.
Thank you very much. Wishlist TOYA on Steam, please.
Thank you, Tristan.
Thank you. Definitely check out TOYA, wishlisted on Steam. Big thanks to Rue for coming on the show and talking about the game. And a big thanks to Kate from the South Australian Film
Thank you, Tristan,
for joining us to talk about the SA Game Exhibition.
It was so fun. I had a really good time.
Friday and Saturday. You need to, it's ticketed, but it is free tickets. You can register for free tickets on the website. You're listening to Festival City here on Radio Adelaide. Going to go to a bit more Australian music with...
How good. That was a fantastic experience. It was so good listening to it live. Yeah, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. Anyway, while that was going on, I moved on to just working on a few things for TOYA. Specifically, I wanted to start a sit down, sleep easy. Let me just reply to Dan and then I'll turn my brain to it. Cool. So there we go. Yeah. See, what I want to happen there is trigger this play. So what I'm gonna do is this button here. I'm also gonna try and get this bit closer so I can hear myself a bit better. I should get a mic stand. Might do that soon. Anyway, I'm gonna crank this so I can hear it without my headphones. Great. There's a rabbit underneath my desk. Okay. So, um, the first thing I want to do is this play button controller. Do I have a reference to the button itself? No. I have inputs. I forget if this is a singleton. Yeah, it's a singleton. Um, button dot events on select. Ah, that's right. Yeah, because this needs to be a new. I'll make a region first. Hey, Bailey. Static action on any input action. Great. And then in here, I want to do button dot select on submit. Hmm. What is this actually called? It's on click. In fact, ah, I can just do it dot invoke. Because that's the actual method. I see. And then when we do this, we can undo that. I think this should work. I haven't assigned the button. Hmm. Surprised that's not shitty. Yeah. Oh. I think I could have sworn I put in a check here. Yeah. Could have sworn I did that. Oh well. Good. Good. Why is it triggering that twice? What are the other things? It's start game events. Hmm. Very interesting. Interesting. Okay. What if I spam? Okay, that seems to work too. That was very weird. Now the last test is, of course, um, does triggering it like a button mess with it in any way? I don't think so. Yes, it does. As it turns out, yes, it does. Okay. I think it's doing the button things twice. Which is this. Which is it's just calling these events, which is fine. Does this have a debug? Yes. Interesting. What I might do is just kill this. Hmm. Yeah, that seems to work much better. And then let's double check that works with a controller. Should have one in here. Let's also test out how it feels to play with a controller. Interesting. Oh, that's why, because it's not getting any input from this. Okay, and you bugger. There we go. Yeah, cool. Cool. That feels good. Dan has sent me a message, I think. Thanks, mate. I'll be all good. I'll be good for Friday and Saturday as long as I keep today and tomorrow pretty low key. Been looking forward to stage for ages. Definitely want to miss it. Haha. Yes, we're very close to finishing. Happy with how it's going together. Awesome. Me too. It's always a highlight. Take it easy. Just working on getting the start button to trigger a bit more nicely and an automatic reload scene at the end. Oh, and a scene. Cool. So what I think I want to do is when we get to chapters, beyond the door, final cutscene. We've got this finish out, which is lovely. Let's put this over here. I can actually see what's going on. And then I need this guy as well, so we can see what's going on. Title in, finish out. Yeah, is that because, yeah, cease. And then and then what I might do is thank you for playing wishlist on Steam. And I might just duplicate this to do press any button to restart. Gorgeous. leave that up for a bit, and then like so. Oh, I see. That's it loading in. A bit more like this. Yeah, that should work. And then at that point, I want to put an event, and there's no function selected fair, because that needs to be on this. Finish out. Yeah, because there's no things on that. Interesting. Okay. Because what I want to do is at that point, we could do it here. I doubt that's something I can even do through Unity events. Why is this still like this? I thought I got rid of this. Yeah. Yeah, good. I want to see if I can register. Hardscape. Hmm. Where did I forgot why I'm even doing that. I was just doing this. Hmm. Should double check that none of my stuff is kicking around. Like none of my singletons are persistent throughout scenes. I don't think any of them are, but I'm just going to double check now. Oh my god. Cool. Yeah, awesome. Great. And then assign reload current scene to any input. I'm going to put this in chapters. Final cutscene. Assign reload current scene to any input. And that's after like ages. Gorgeous. Technically it's going to be, I could just bring back up this. Finish it out. Gets triggered at around the 8-second mark. So let's do it then. And then we'll double check it. So 11.5 plus 8 is 19.5. And then let's see if my load chapter still works. 'Cause now that I've moved some stuff, it may not. Why? Because my animation is selected. I suppose. Yes, good. And then we'll look at why that coroutine is confused. Right. Okay, so that isn't fixed. But I do know a terrible quick fix, which is moving you to here. Got heaps of null reference errors. Amazing. Cool, anyway. It works. It's terrible, but it works. Let's just double check that we can't. Yeah, great. Oh, those fucking triggers. I'm gonna have to fix that as well. Because there's so many triggers that aren't getting turned off when they should be. It's going to reload all the way to chapter 5. And is it still assigned? It is still assigned. That is bad. And this time it's stuck. Interesting. And it's reloading it every time. Interesting. Cool. I don't need to check. Oh, that works pretty well. Ah, yeah. I can, I don't know. There we go. Oh, that's cool. Huh. I didn't know I could do that. We'll have a look at that in a second. The one more thing we need to do is in this any input. Is there really no binding that is just anything? No, there's only button south. That's so annoying. Alright, whatever. We'll do all of the all of those any key as well as like mouse down. Good click. No. Mouse. Left button. Right button. Sure. Interesting. Is that only one of them? Why did that happen? Interesting. Cool, that is good. Which coroutine is this? Start animation. Why? Probably this just has set plane visible, play arrive. Oh. What was the error? The error was something like can't start coroutine. I don't understand what's turning the menu off. Interesting. Looks so good. So, oh, I'm so happy with what he's done with this. And if I hit play, I'm not getting the error. Excellent. Oh. Oh. Why did it? Why did it go automatically? That was weird. Yeah, there we go. Must have pressed something. Um, it's so beautiful. It's interesting that this isn't doing anything. thought it would. And in fact, it probably should. Hits, that's why. All that work I did. By all that work, I mean this tiny bit of work. Oops. Yeah, that will do. Surely that'll be enough. Oh, hello, Bear. There's a rabbit down there. Yeah, cool. Feel. Push on. I forget in which chapter did I put? Or was it an automatic thing that I did? Yes. These are all trigger boxes, aren't they? Yeah. In fact, I could probably destroy them. Um, previous chapter triggers. Good. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. I think that's me done for today at least. I will see you guys. Oh, it's Thomas Bedwetter. Hello, Tommy. How you doing, bud? 6'7". 6'7", Your Honor. Awesome. That's done. Fixed menu. Amazing. I was just heading off, Tommy, but it's good to see you. Got an event on Friday, Saturday. Cool game. Can I play? You can. I will be putting the link. I think once we've finalized the new build, we'll be putting it up on itch, and I'll chuck it in the chats for everybody to play. And we've got some merch as well. We're gonna sell these at the event on the weekend. Squishy cubes. Let me make the large cam on. There we go. Squishy cubes. It is a TOYA. Exactly. They are so beautiful. I like them very much. They are squishy. Good. Alrighty. I'm gonna head off. Be well.